Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of Playoff Preview. If you guys haven't watched episode 1 where I cover the Clippers and the Nuggets, where I pretty much predict Clippers in 6 because of what's going on with Denver and how the Clippers have been playing. I forgot to clarify, in a normal NBA season, I would say the Nuggets would win in 7 against the Clippers, but I would not be surprised either way if either or won because that series could really swing either way. But tomorrow I'm gonna have to probably do a 2-for-1 covering both the Pacers and the Bucks, as well as the New York Knicks and the Detroit Pistons scoring off in the first round because I'm trying to crunch everything. Because of the play-in tourney, we're gonna start with seeds 7 through 8, Bucks, no Bucks, Hawks, Magic, and then Golden State and the Grizzlies. Um, so if you have not checked out episode 1, go check it out already if you haven't. But I want to get to the series because this has a lot of interesting storylines, if you will. They have a lot of interesting storylines behind it. Obviously, the two dudes you see on my screen, LeBron and Ant, well, they're both Olympic champions, and obviously, Bron and Ant are cool with each other just the same way as Ant and KD are cool with each other. But this series is going to have a very interesting how do you say interesting aura, for lack of a word, because as a Gen Z, I had to follow the Gen Z terminology. But it has a lot of aura behind it because Bron and Ant are absolute competitors on the court. Um, but we have a much better roster, I believe, than the T-Wolves. Even though the T-Wolves have not been playing bad, the T-Wolves I will respect as a solid team, but I don't think they have enough to compete with the Lakers. Now, the one thing I will give the edge to for Minnesota, though, is their bench. Because Dante DiVincenzo, Naz Reid, and Nikhil Alexander-Walker beats, in my opinion, Laker fans don't come after my head, I think they do beat Gabe Vincent and Vando and Dorian Finney-Smith. But I think the thing about it, too, is we have weapons of our own. And I feel like we can easily dispatch this team in 5 games. The thing that I am very skeptical of is where is the bench production going to come from? Because I have a feeling JJ Redick should play Dalton Connect. I don't know why. I just feel like I have a feeling that he should play him because we have a lot of guys that could defend and switch with Ant. And I think the Lakers' strategy for this series is the same, especially with Rudy Gobert on the floor. I believe JJ Redick is going to implement that same strategy that Ty Lue used in 2021 when Rudy was on the Clippers. When Rudy was on the Jazz and he was playing the Clippers. I think the Lakers are going to have a 5-out offense, meaning Rudy is going to have to be forced to guard the perimeter. And it's going to leave a lot of guys wide open, like a Finney Smith, a Gabe Vincent, who else? Rui Hachimura, which means Rudy Gobert will have to guard the perimeter if we do play a 5-out offense, which I 100% believe we should. Now, the point I was making about Dalton Connect, the reason why I feel like we should play Dalton Connect, I would want to play him over Jordan Goodwin, so that way we have a for sure offense on the bench. Rather than, Gabe Vincent, he can get you 20, but if he's not getting you 20, he's a good defender, but it's not enough to keep him on the floor. Benny Smith, same thing, but you can leave him out there because he's a big wing that can defend, right? And Vanderbilt, same thing. He may not give you 20, but he's out there when we need to adjust defensively and adjust the schemes for Ant. And another thing too, a lot of people forget that Vando played with Ant his first 2 years in the league. So Vando knows what Ant is capable of. So I think what JJ Redick should do is do what Steve Kerr did in the 2015 finals. Okay, Andre Iguodala, you come in to match LeBron's minutes. Every time LeBron's in the game, you're in the game. Kawhi, to an extent, same thing. Even though he was primarily a starter on those Spurs teams where they had to face LeBron in the finals, Greg Popovich implemented that same strategy. So if I'm JJ Redick, I would implement that same strategy as well because Vando knows Ant. He knows obviously different personnel outside of Naz Reid. But I think Vando, you put him on Ant, I think a lot of good things will happen. And I think for us, our bench may be a little shaky, but I feel like we still have enough to beat this Minnesota team. We just have to strategize. And plus, we have three good scorers on our team. I know the Clippers do too. I know the Wolves as well. I know the Knicks do as well. But Luka, LeBron, and Reeves are very good at what they do, obviously. Offensively, that's hard to stop. So I think the other thing too is that Randall is up and down. He is a good secondary scorer next to Ant, yes, but it's just like I've seen him with the Knicks, and it's just like there were times where it's like he's just way too up and down as a player. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like he's just one night he'll give you 30 on good efficiency, the other night he'll give you like 25 on bad efficiency. He's one of those inefficient players, and I remember watching a video when he was on the Knicks exited in the second round against Miami. That was the Miami Cinderella run to the finals. Stephen A. Smith said something, and I know I don't agree with him on everything, especially now that everyone knows Stephen A. is just an absolute bozo. But he was right about one thing. Randall needed to go because he's inefficient, unreliable, and sometimes where Randall loses the ball or makes a bad play, there were times where he just puts his head down and not get back on defense. Sometimes he'll be like loathing and such, which did get on a lot of Knicks fans' nerves. I know Karl Towns is prone to doing the same type of thing, but I feel like Randall is probably the worst of the two. And I feel like his lack of spacing is gonna hold the Wolves back this series. And who are you going to, okay, you take Randall's efficiency into consideration, or inefficiency, I should say. Who is going to spell Ant who's going to spell Ant, right? Because I can't really rely. Nas Reed is good, but I don't know why Chris Finch doesn't like playing him over Randall or Gobert, and then Dante O'Shante, Dante DiVincenzo. He's really good, a very good shooter, um, and he could score at will too. He's not just a guy that could shoot the three. I've seen him with the Knicks and the Golden State Warriors and parts of the Milwaukee Bucks. Dante Dante can ball, man. Dante can absolutely ball. But it's just like even with that, I don't think that's enough to match Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves. Because those three, if those three get 90, which I believe they will in every game of the Wolves series, the Wolves ain't getting out. The Wolves don't have a chance. So that's the thing that I want to harp on, and yeah, that's partially because my Laker fan bias because I like this matchup for us. Because and also I think we can still hunt Rudy in the pick and roll too, but I think it also depends on our 5-out offense. Because if we're gonna put Jackson Hayes on Gobert, it's if we have Jackson Hayes in the game, it's kind of tricky to figure out a little bit because Jackson Hayes is more of a role man off the bench. But if we could play 5-out, we could definitely switch with Rudy Gobert, right? So those are my takes on it. I know I'm just rambling. I'm trying to come up with stuff from the top of my head because that's what I've been doing for my YouTube videos now, especially with series recap, which has been so much fun for me to do. But the way the Timberwolves can beat the Lakers, which I don't believe they will, but if they want to win, Chris Finch is going to really have to understand this matchup. If Rudy Gobert is hunted, because Luka and LeBron are going to hunt him on defense. LeBron has put him on a poster before. Luka has hit a game winner in his bleeping eye. So Chris Finch is going to have to make a decision to bench Gobert in crucial moments that matter in this series. You dig what I'm saying? Like, he's going to have to do that. And then number two, the bench has to really stand out. I think this, and I think I said at the beginning of the video, I think this is a matter of bench versus bench. Because, yeah, there's an argument for the Wolves bench being better, but we have weapons ourselves too. And we can have reliable weapons on the bench too. Because remember, Gabe Vincent can give me 20, but he's the only one that can give me 20. I wish we can play Connect over Jordan Goodwin because it's just like I don't know why JJ loves playing him so much. I get it, hustle and energy, but it's just like we said the same thing about Russell Westbrook, and yeah, I don't need to bring up that play against Minnesota, and obviously I still loved him even when he did badly on the Lakers, but the same things were said about Russ then. So and Jordan Goodwin kind of makes the same bonehead plays that Russ does. Not saying Goodwin's a bad player, but I'd rather have us get a for sure option off the bench for offense because I feel like there's going to be a game in this series where the Timberwolves bench absolutely goes bonkers. Like Dante, Nas, and Nikhil. Dante goes for 20 off the bench. Nas Reed hits all his threes. Nikhil Alexander Walker hits all his threes and plays good defense. So the bench needs Minnesota will need that kind of production off their bench. But I also feel, and it showed in the Mavs series last year, their bench comes and goes a lot. Even in the series, not even just that. Even in the series against the Denver Nuggets, their bench came and went a lot. You know what I mean? But even still, they were able to win in spite of that, but they weren't able to get out the Mavs series. You know what I mean? So I feel like those things has to happen because Ant is going to do what Ant does best. The problem is who's going to come along with him, right? Because Randall, again, he's not all that reliable, and then the bench comes and goes too. Even though, yes, the bench for Minnesota is better than our bench, but even with that, I feel like we can still take them in spite of that. So again, I really don't have much to say about this series, but I'm go Lakers in five. I'm gonna channel my inner Shannon Sharp. I'm gonna say Lakers in five because LeBron, Luca, and Reeves. Um, that we have those three weapons, and then Anthony Edwards. Virtually, if you think about it, he's going to need a lot of help from the Randalls, the Goberts, his bench. Jay McDaniels cannot be a cone out there. You know what I mean? Yeah, they can all play defense and yada yada yada, but it's just like, what good is your defense if you're not going to hit shots? That's why I'm wishing that JJ Redick plays Dalton Connect over Jordan Goodwin because we have enough defense. Now we just need a for sure offensive weapon off the bench. So this is just like some random thoughts and what I think is gonna happen. So here, oh yeah, I'm gonna do what I did the last time in episode 1, where I give you guys my rundown on how I think the series is gonna go. So obviously, I'm going for Lakers in 5. Game 1, the first 2 games, we hold serve on our home court. I think we win both those games very convincingly. Obviously, Game 3 is going to be a game where it'll be an all-out battle to the very end. But I feel like we come out of that with like a 1 to 2 point win in that game. I'll give Minnesota Game 4 because I don't think they're going to play. I think it'll be a game where Ant and LeBron go back and forth. Ant goes for 40. LeBron goes for 35. Luka will have an off game. Reeves will have an off game. And then Minnesota keeps their season alive going back to Los Angeles. So Game 5, it'll be an all-out battle again. But I feel like Luka and LeBron are going to do what they do best. Austin Reeves is going to have some clutch buckets. Anthony Edwards, again, he's going to do what he does best. He'll get some adequate help. But I feel like with the defense we have and Luka, AR, and LeBron being better than Ant and whoever else the Timberwolves have, I feel like that's enough for us to get out of this first round series. Now, I'm not going to say Minnesota is, I'm not going to say Minnesota is going to, lay down and just bow down to us or, that type of thing. I don't expect the Wolves to just absolutely lay an egg. And for those people that are going to say, well, the Suns swept the Timberwolves last year, and the T-Wolves returned the favor and swept them in the playoffs, I think that's a false equivalency because LeBron's better than KD and Luka's better than Booker. And Austin Reeves is better than Beal. That big three, a lot of people don't understand. That big three was never going to work. I'm not going to talk about the Phoenix Suns because they are the biggest time wasters out there. I've always felt this way about them for the last 3 years now. But the Suns, that big three was never going to work because it was so redundant. Yes, AR, Luka, and LeBron, they have their defensive flaws. But the thing is, they complement each other very well offensively. I think a lot of people are missing that point. Whereas KD, Booker, and Beal did not complement each other, and those dysfunctions showed. So it didn't matter if they swept the Wolves in the regular season because the Wolves really studied their flaws and what the Suns are incapable of doing. And of course, they're probably going to do the same thing with us. But I feel like with playoff Bron, Luka, and Austin Reeves, I feel like it'll be better than what Anthony Edwards and the rest of that team will throw at us. But I do not doubt that um, there are going to be games in the series where it's going to be heavily tight, heavily contested. But I feel like the Lakers pull out of it in the end. So those are my quick thoughts. And thank you guys for watching another episode of Playoff Preview. This is episode 2. If you guys have not checked out episode 1 where I talk about the Clippers and the Nuggets, please watch that before watching this one, or you can watch this one before that one. I really don't care. But yeah, Lakers in 5, yo. I think we'll take them out in 5. But I feel like it'll be a very entertaining series, storyline wise, and actually watching the game. So thank you guys for watching, and episode 3 will be out tomorrow. That's the end of this video. I'm X. Deuces.